Number 1. The land of contrasts. If you look at the map, South Korea appears as just a narrow strip of land at the southern tip of the Korean peninsula. Its territory is about 100,000 square kilometers, roughly the size of the US state of Indiana. But don't let the size fool you. On this small piece of land, contrasts are everywhere. Nearly 70% of the country is covered by mountains, especially dense in the eastern regions. In complete opposition, the fertile plains are concentrated in the west and the south, where rice paddies stretch endlessly and provide food for the entire nation. Travel to Jeju Island and you step into another world: red volcanic soil, basalt cliffs shaped by ancient eruptions, and lava tubes running for kilometers beneath the ground. It's no surprise that UNESCO has recognized Jeju as a World Natural Heritage Site. South Korea also stands out for its temperate climate with 4 distinct seasons. In spring, the nation turns pink and white as cherry blossoms bloom everywhere. Summers are hot and humid, while autumn forests glow with fiery red and golden leaves. In winter, snow blankets the peaks of Seoraksan. These 4 dramatic seasons create a unique appeal for travelers year-round. Unlike many Asian countries, South Korea rarely suffers from earthquakes or major typhoons, since it lies outside the Pacific Ring of Fire. This stability has allowed cities to grow safely and steadily. Thanks to these natural conditions, South Korea has become a magnet for visitors. In 2024, more than 16.37 million international tourists arrived, making it the 8th most visited destination in Asia. At the same time, with a population of over 51 million people, the country ranks 29th in the world, and more than half live in the Greater Seoul metropolitan area, one of the densest urban zones on Earth. What's fascinating is that despite modernization and crowding, South Korea has preserved a rare cultural homogeneity. Over 96% of its citizens are ethnically Korean, giving the country a unified identity seldom seen elsewhere in Asia. Yet, this comes with its own challenge: rapid population aging. Already, 1 in 5 citizens is over the age of 65. The United Nations projects that by 2035, nearly 1 in 3 Koreans will be elderly, placing the nation among the world's super-aged societies. Standing in the Green Mountains, looking out over the Yellow Sea or the Sea of Japan, you can feel the contrast clearly. A small country, yet full of diverse natural and social landscapes. Number 2, the Korean wave phenomenon. South Korea may be small in size, but it has managed to export something far more powerful than cars or smartphones: culture. Known as the Korean Wave, or Hallyu, this global movement has transformed South Korea into one of the world's most influential cultural exporters. From music and television to food, fashion, and lifestyle, Hallyu has reached every corner of the globe. At the heart of this wave is K-pop. Groups like BTS, Blackpink, EXO, and Twice are no longer just entertainers, they're international icons. Their concerts sell out in minutes across Europe and the United States, and their music videos rack up billions of views online. PSY's Gangnam Style, once the most watched video on YouTube, was a turning point that proved Korean music could capture global attention. Today, K-pop is not only a source of entertainment, but also a multi-billion-dollar industry that boosts tourism, fashion, and even language learning. But Hallyu is not limited to music. Korean dramas and films have also made their mark. Romantic series like Winter Sonata and Descendants of the Sun once drew millions of viewers across Asia. More recently, Squid Game became a global sensation on Netflix, while Parasite made history in 2019 by winning the Academy Award for Best Picture, the first non-English film ever to do so. These works don't just entertain, they introduce the world to Korean values, struggles, and imagination. Yet behind the glittering lights, there is a darker reality. The entertainment industry in South Korea is notoriously competitive. Idols and actors face immense pressure to maintain flawless images, leaving little room for mistakes. In 2019, tragedy struck with the loss of 2 young stars, singer Sully and singer Gu Hara, both victims of relentless online harassment and crushing public expectations. Their deaths shocked the nation and sparked debates about mental health, privacy, and the cost of fame. In response, the South Korean government passed what is known as the Sully Act, empowering authorities to crack down on malicious online comments. Social media platforms were forced to introduce stricter content moderation, and slowly, public opinion began to shift. More and more fans now argue that idols should be allowed to live as human beings, not as perfect symbols of society's ideals. The Korean wave is therefore more than entertainment. It's a mirror of South Korea's ambition and its struggles. It shows how soft power can build bridges, but also how success comes with intense challenges. Number 3, Korean women. Strength behind beauty. When people think of South Korea, one of the first images that comes to mind is the beauty of Korean women. Smooth skin, delicate features, and graceful manners have become symbols of Korean identity across Asia. But behind this image lies a story of education, ambition, and strength that often goes unnoticed. Traditional ideals still shape the way women are perceived. From an early age, girls are taught etiquette, respect for hierarchy, and the importance of modesty. This explains why many Korean women speak softly, use honorifics carefully, and avoid showing strong emotions in public. At the same time, South Korea has become one of the most influential countries in setting beauty standards across Asia, inspiring skincare routines and cosmetic products followed worldwide. But appearances are only part of the story. In education, Korean women have achieved some of the highest rates of university attendance in the world. According to OECD data, more than 75% of young women go on to higher education. And in the workplace, their role is growing quickly. About 1 in 4 businesses in South Korea is run by women, placing the country at the forefront in Asia for female entrepreneurship. Global organizations such as the World Bank and McKinsey have even pointed out that Korean women are an underused but powerful resource for the nation's economy. In conversations, surveys show that nearly 60% of Korean women are confident in expressing their opinions, a significant shift in a culture once dominated by silence and hierarchy. From CEOs of tech companies to internationally recognized artists, women are increasingly visible in positions of leadership. On a personal level, relationships also reflect these values. Korean women are known for valuing emotional connection, subtle gestures, and thoughtfulness. They often appreciate small but meaningful acts, a carefully planned date, a gift on a special day, or simply a daily message. International marriages are becoming more common, especially in cities like Seoul and Busan, where women are more open to meeting partners from abroad, provided there is mutual respect and stability. And yet, a surprising reality emerges. More than 40% of Korean women are now single. Many choose independence over marriage, focusing on careers or personal freedom. This decision reflects broader social changes and contributes to South Korea's declining birth rate, one of the lowest in the world. So, when we think of Korean women, we should not only admire their beauty, but also recognize their intelligence, ambition, and evolving role in shaping the future of the nation. Number 4, beliefs and superstitions. In a country as modern and high-tech as South Korea, you might not expect superstition to play a role in daily life. Yet, beliefs passed down through generations still influence how people think, love, and even design their buildings. One of the most famous examples is the belief in blood-type personalities. While people in the West might ask about zodiac signs, in Korea it's common to ask, "What's your blood type?" For many Koreans, blood type reveals more than just health. It is thought to shape character and compatibility. People with type A are often seen as perfectionists, organized, and considerate. Type O is linked to confidence, energy, and leadership. Type AB is considered intelligent but unpredictable. And Type B, perhaps the most controversial, is often described as impulsive, selfish, or unreliable. This belief is so widespread that it has inspired films like My Boyfriend is Type B and even affects dating choices. Some women hesitate to date men with Type B blood, fearing instability in relationships. Numbers also carry powerful meanings. The number 4 is considered unlucky because its Korean pronunciation sounds similar to the word for death. Many high-rise buildings skip the 4th floor entirely, replacing it with the letter F in elevators. The number appears rarely in gifts, license plates, or phone numbers. By contrast, the numbers 3 and 8 are celebrated. 3 represents harmony between heaven, earth, and humanity, while 8 symbolizes prosperity and eternity, thanks to its resemblance to the infinity sign. These beliefs influence everything from wedding dates and business openings to housewarming parties. Families often choose lucky days for major events, believing it will bring balance and success. While science may not support these traditions, they remain an important part of social life. They reveal how modern Koreans, even while living in a hyper-connected society, still find comfort and identity in ancient ways of thinking. Number 5. From colonization to division. For much of its history, the Korean peninsula rarely had the chance to shape its own destiny. Surrounded by powerful neighbors, Korea often found itself under the shadow of greater empires. From the Goryeo period to the Joseon dynasty, the kingdom regularly sent tribute to China's Ming and Qing courts while adopting cultural and political influences from abroad. But the late 19th century brought a new and devastating challenge: the rise of Imperial Japan. In 1910, Korea was formally annexed by Japan and endured 35 years of colonial rule. During this time, the Korean language was banned in schools, citizens were forced into labor, and hundreds of thousands of women were taken as so-called comfort women for the Japanese military. This era left scars that remain deeply painful in Korea's memory and continue to shape relations between the two nations. After Japan's defeat in World War II, hopes of independence were realized, but unity quickly vanished. The peninsula was divided along the 38th parallel, the north occupied by the Soviet Union, the south supported by the United States. At first, this division was meant to be temporary, but in 1950 war erupted. The Korean War lasted 3 years and brought unimaginable destruction. More than 3 million people died, cities were reduced to rubble, and families were torn apart. Although an armistice was signed in 1953, no peace treaty was ever concluded. Technically, the two Koreas remain at war even today. Between them lies the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, a 250-kilometer-long border, heavily mined and guarded, yet paradoxically, home to some of the most untouched natural ecosystems in Asia. The war created two nations with completely opposite paths. North Korea turned inward, embracing isolation and dictatorship. South Korea, devastated at first, chose a different road, one of rapid modernization, democracy, and integration with the global economy. Despite sharing the same language and cultural roots, the two Koreas remain divided by ideology, politics, and decades of mistrust. This history of colonization and division explains much of South Korea's modern identity: a fierce determination for independence, resilience in the face of hardship, and a constant awareness of security. Number 6. The miracle on the Han River. In the aftermath of the Korean War, South Korea was one of the poorest nations in Asia. In the 1950s, its per capita income was comparable to that of the poorest countries in Africa. Many international observers doubted whether the country could ever recover. And yet, within just a few decades, South Korea stunned the world with what is now called the miracle on the Han River. Under President Park Chung, he in the 1960s and 70s, the government focused on rapid industrialization. Massive investments were poured into infrastructure, education, and exports. Family-owned conglomerates known as Chaebol, Samsung, Hyundai, LG were nurtured with state support and grew into global giants. By encouraging technical education and discipline, South Korea transformed itself into a nation of engineers, builders, and innovators. From 1960 to 1990, South Korea's GDP increased more than 30 times. Today, it stands as one of the world's largest economies, often grouped among the 4 Asian tigers alongside Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. The country leads in semiconductors, smartphones, cosmetics, and even cultural exports. But this miracle came at a cost. South Koreans work some of the longest hours in the developed world, over 1,900 hours per year, nearly 200 more than the OECD average. A deeply hierarchical corporate culture often makes it difficult for employees to leave before their bosses do. The unspoken art of nunchi, sensing the feelings of others, adds psychological pressure to always conform and please superiors. The concentration of wealth also remains a challenge. The top 10 chaebol account for more than 80% of the South Korean stock market's value. Samsung alone generates annual revenue equal to nearly 1/5 of the nation's GDP. Meanwhile, about 60% of ordinary South Koreans still live under relatively modest conditions, with living standards comparable to smaller European economies. Recognizing these issues, the government has introduced policies to reduce working hours, raise minimum wages, and expand vocational training for young people who don't attend university. These reforms aim to balance growth with well-being in one of the world's most competitive societies. South Korea's journey from ruins to riches is a story of resilience and ambition, a reminder that even a nation devastated by war can reinvent itself through vision, discipline, and relentless effort. Number 7, a hyper-connected beauty culture. In South Korea, beauty is not just a personal choice, it is a social expectation. This is the country with the highest rate of cosmetic surgery per capita in the world. Here, changing your appearance is not seen as unusual. It is often viewed as an investment in success. Statistics show that about 1 in 4 South Korean women has undergone some form of cosmetic procedure. The most popular include double eyelid surgery, rhinoplasty to create a higher nose bridge, and the V-line jaw reduction to achieve a slimmer chin. In Seoul's famous Gangnam district, entire streets are lined with clinics offering these services. For many young adults, especially students graduating from high school, surgery is considered a common gift from parents, a way to improve their chances in university applications, job interviews, or even marriage. But South Korea's beauty culture extends far beyond surgery. The country has built a global skincare empire. Sheet masks, BB creams, cushion foundations, and 10-step skincare routines have all become international trends. Brands like Laneige, Innisfree, The Face Shop, and Etude House are now household names across Asia, Europe, and North America. Their products are praised for combining natural ingredients, innovative science, and elegant design at reasonable prices. Perhaps the most surprising part of this culture is that men participate just as actively. South Korean men are the largest consumers of skincare products in the world, spending nearly $900 million annually. Surveys reveal that more than 1/3 of South Korean men regularly use makeup, such as foundation, concealer, and eyebrow pencils. Popular television programs even feature makeup tutorials for men, hosted by well-known beauty influencers. This obsession with beauty reflects both opportunity and pressure. On the one hand, it has given South Korea a thriving global industry and a reputation as a trendsetter. On the other hand, it creates intense social expectations, where appearance can determine access to jobs, relationships, and self-esteem. In South Korea, looking good is not just about vanity. It's a reflection of discipline, ambition, and the desire to fit into one of the world's most competitive societies. Number 8, Seoul. And the new capital, Sejong, Seoul, is often described as the beating heart of South Korea. With nearly 10 million residents in the city proper and over 25 million in the greater metropolitan area, it is one of the most crowded urban zones on the planet. But this incredible concentration of people, power, and opportunity has created enormous pressure, traffic jams, housing shortages, and skyrocketing living costs. Back in 2003, then President Roh Moo-hyun unveiled an ambitious idea, relocating the nation's capital. The plan was not only to relieve Seoul's congestion, but also to spread development more evenly across the country. Another reason was security. Seoul lies only about 50 kilometers from the North Korean border. In the event of war, the nation's political and administrative hub would be dangerously exposed. Although the Constitutional Court blocked the idea of moving the capital entirely, the project evolved into creating a new administrative city in central Korea's Sejong. Established officially in 2012, Sejong was named after King Sejong the Great, the ruler who created the Korean alphabet, Hangul. Located about 120 kilometers south of Seoul, Sejong was designed as a smart city of the future. Since its founding, dozens of government ministries and agencies have moved their headquarters to Sejong. These include the Prime Minister's Office, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Agriculture. The government has invested over $20 billion to develop the city in multiple phases, aiming for completion by 2030. Sejong is not just about moving offices, it's an experiment in urban planning. Wide boulevards, eco-friendly housing, and state-of-the-art public transport are meant to make it more livable than Seoul. Yet, challenges remain. The city's population is still under 1 million, far smaller than the capital, and some government bodies have resisted leaving Seoul. Many Koreans also feel that cultural and economic life will always remain tied to the old capital. Still, Sejong represents South Korea's bold attempt to design a future city from scratch, one that could eventually balance the nation's growth and reduce the pressure on Seoul. Number 9. Nightlife in South Korea. When the sun sets in South Korea, the country doesn't slow down, it comes alive. Cities like Seoul, Busan, and Daegu are famous for having some of the most vibrant nightlife in all of Asia. In fact, the streets often grow busier after 10 p.m. than during the day. For many South Koreans, late evenings are the time to unwind after long working hours. Dinner is often pushed to late night, followed by gatherings with friends, co-workers, or family. Food plays a central role in this nightlife. Street markets such as Gwangjang in Seoul or Bupyeong in Incheon stay open until well past midnight. Stalls sell everything from sweet red bean pastries and crispy fried chicken to spicy tteokbokki rice cakes. Night markets aren't just about food, they also offer clothes, cosmetics, and accessories at affordable prices, creating a buzzing and friendly atmosphere. But nightlife here goes far beyond markets. Districts like Hongdae, Itaewon, and Gangnam are lined with bars, pubs, and clubs that remain open until 4 or even 5 in the morning. Each district has its own flavor. Hongdae thrives on youth culture, live bands, and indie vibes. Itaewon draws international crowds with hip-hop and global DJs. Gangnam offers upscale clubs with high-energy electronic music. Karaoke rooms, known as noraebang, are everywhere, allowing groups of friends to sing together until dawn. For those seeking something quieter, South Korea also offers unique alternatives. 24-hour board game cafes, movie theaters that run all night, and internet cafes, where gamers play until sunrise. And then there's the Pojangmatcha small tented eateries set up on sidewalks where people sit under plastic canopies eating grilled seafood and drinking soju long into the night. Even outdoor spaces turn lively after dark. Along the Han River in Seoul, couples and families stroll, cycle, or simply sit on picnic blankets enjoying the view of the illuminated city skyline. In historic districts like Insadong, the old architecture remains calm yet alive, offering a slower rhythm for evening walks. Despite the high energy, South Korea's nightlife is surprisingly safe compared to many other countries. Streets are well lit, CCTV cameras are everywhere, and police maintain a strong presence. Women and tourists can generally explore freely at night. Still, in crowded bar areas, it's wise to stay alert for rowdy drinkers or the occasional pickpocket. Nightlife in South Korea isn't just about staying awake. It's about experiencing another side of the culture, communal, spontaneous, and full of flavor. Number 10. Famous tourist destination South Korea may be small, but it offers some of the most unique and memorable travel experiences in Asia. Each region has its own character, from volcanic islands to ancient capitals and rolling tea fields. The crown jewel is Jeju Island. Known as the Hawaii of Korea, Jeju is a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site shaped by ancient volcanic activity. Travelers often begin by hiking Mount Hallasan, Korea's highest peak, to watch the sunrise over the island. Along the way, fields of blooming canola flowers or cherry blossoms add splashes of color to the landscape. One of Jeju's most unforgettable sights is the Haenyeo elderly female divers who plunge into the sea without oxygen tanks to harvest shellfish, a living tradition recognized as cultural heritage. If history is what you seek, the city of Gyeongju is a time capsule of Korea's past. Once the capital of the Silla Kingdom, it is often called the Museum Without Walls. Here, visitors wander among grass-covered royal tombs, serene Buddhist temples, and the Anapji Pond, where palace ruins reflect on still waters. Wearing traditional hanbok while strolling through these historic sites creates a rare connection between past and present. For something more tranquil, head to the Bozong tea fields in the southwest. Rolling green hills stretch as far as the eye can see, creating one of the most beautiful landscapes in the country. Visitors often join farmers in picking tea leaves, drying them, and tasting freshly brewed green tea. Some even try unique spa treatments, such as bathing in green tea for its supposed health benefits. Early mornings are especially magical when mist hangs low over the curved rows of tea. These destinations capture the essence of South Korea, a blend of breathtaking nature, living traditions, and cultural depth. Whether it's the volcanic shores of Jeju, the ancient tranquility of Gyeongju, or the soothing calm of Bosong's tea plantations, each place tells a different part of the nation's story. Number 11. Unsolved, mysterious places. Not everything in South Korea can be explained by history, science, or tradition. Some places remain wrapped in mystery, puzzling both locals and visitors with phenomena that defy logic. One such place is Mount Inwangsan, which rises just behind the city of Seoul. Along its hiking trail near the summit stands a cliff that locals call the Meditation Master's Seat. At a certain time of year, usually in spring and autumn between 5 and 6 p.m., a faint shadow resembling a seated human figure appears against the rock face. Hikers have photographed it repeatedly from different angles and seasons, yet the shadow always shows in the same position, as if a silent guardian were watching over the valley. Scientists suggest it may be a trick of light bouncing between angled rocks, but the precision and timing remain unexplained. For centuries, shamans and hermits considered Inwangsan sacred, a place where spirits communicate with the human world. Some say only those with a calm and pure heart can truly see the figure in full. Another puzzle lies at Uyum Lake in Chuncheon. On clear sunny days, the lake reflects the green forests along its shore, but not the white clouds in the sky above. While trees and mountains appear perfectly mirrored, the clouds seem to vanish from the surface of the water. Visitors with cameras and drones have tried to capture the phenomenon, but the result is always the same. The sky looks strangely empty in the reflection. Some speculate that the mineral content of the water absorbs certain wavelengths of light. Others whisper that beneath the lake lies an underground channel leading to another world. Locals simply call it the shadowless mirror. These mysteries have no official explanation. They blur the line between natural science and folklore, reminding us that even in a highly modern country, there are still places that resist human understanding. Number 12. Famous dishes in South Korea. No journey through South Korea would be complete without exploring its food. Here, cuisine is more than nourishment. It is culture, community, and identity. The most famous dish, of course, is kimchi. Made from fermented Napa cabbage with garlic, ginger, and chili peppers, kimchi has been a staple for centuries. Koreans eat it with almost every meal, and the country produces over 2 million tons each year. On average, each person consumes more than 40 pounds annually. Kimchi isn't just food, it's tradition. Families gather during kimjang season to prepare large batches for the winter, a practice recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. For those seeking something more daring, there's sanakji live octopus. Chopped into small pieces and drizzled with sesame oil, the tentacles continue to wriggle on the plate, creating a unique, slightly shocking sensation when eaten. It's a dish that divides visitors. For some, it's thrilling. For others, it's unsettling. In contrast, bibimbap is comforting and colorful. A bowl of warm rice topped with vegetables, beef, a fried egg, and spicy chili paste mixed together into a perfect balance of flavors. Each ingredient keeps its own character, yet together they form harmony, a symbol of Korean culture itself. Then there's byondagi boiled silkworm pupae, sold as street food at markets and festivals. With a chewy texture and a strong, nutty aroma, it's often eaten as a snack with drinks. To foreigners, it can be intimidating, but to many Koreans, it's a nostalgic taste of childhood. Finally, no list is complete without samjae-opsal, grilled pork belly. Cooked over hot charcoal, wrapped in lettuce with garlic, kimchi, and soybean paste, samjae-opsal is not just a dish, it's an experience. Families, friends, and colleagues gather around the grill, sharing laughter as the meat sizzles. This is the heart of Korean dining, communal, interactive, and full of life. South Korean cuisine ranges from the comforting to the daring, but all of it reflects a culture that values sharing, bold flavors, and deep traditions. Number 13, unique festivals tourists should know. If food is the daily heartbeat of South Korea, festivals are its bursts of color and celebration. Scattered across the year, these events blend tradition, history, and modern fun, drawing millions of visitors from around the world. In early April, the Jinhae Cherry Blossom Festival transforms the city of Jinhae into a sea of pink and white. More than 300,000 cherry trees bloom at once, covering streets, riversides, and parks. Visitors stroll under the blossoms, take photos on the famous Yeowacheon Bridge, and watch parades and outdoor performances. It's a moment of fleeting beauty, lasting only about 10 days, that attracts tourists from across Asia and beyond. Summer brings one of Korea's wildest events, the Boryong Mud Festival on Daejeon Beach. What started in the 1990s as a way to promote the mineral-rich mud of the region has grown into a global party. Tourists and locals dive into giant mud pits, wrestle, slide, and even enjoy mud massages said to benefit the skin. At night, live concerts and fireworks turn the beach into a massive open-air celebration. In autumn, the Andong Mask Dance Festival takes visitors back in time. For centuries, Koreans have used masks in rituals and performances to tell stories, mock authority, or drive away evil spirits. In Andong, traditional mask dances are performed alongside modern reinterpretations, and visitors can even join workshops to carve and paint their own masks. The festival preserves an art form that is as playful as it is meaningful. Spring also brings a spiritual celebration, the Lotus Lantern Festival in Seoul, honoring the birth of the Buddha. The highlight is a dazzling nighttime parade where thousands of colorful lanterns shaped like lotuses, animals, and mythical creatures light up the streets. Alongside the parade are activities such as lantern-making workshops, meditation sessions, and traditional prayers. It's a moment that combines religious devotion with breathtaking spectacle. And in the heart of winter, when rivers freeze solid, the Hwacheon Sanchineo Ice Festival in Gangwon Province invites families to fish through holes in the ice, skate, sled, and wander among glittering ice sculptures. The frozen river becomes a playground for community bonding and simple joy, despite the freezing temperatures. Together, these festivals showcase the spirit of South Korea: romantic, playful, artistic, spiritual, and communal. They are not just events on a calendar, but living expressions of the nation's identity. Number 14, cost of living in South Korea. For anyone planning to visit or stay in South Korea, understanding the cost of daily life is essential. The country offers both affordable options and high-end lifestyles, depending on where you choose to live and how you spend your money. In central Seoul, where offices, shopping districts, and nightlife concentrate, rent can be steep. A one-bedroom apartment typically costs between $600 and $900 per month. Step outside the capital to cities like Incheon, Daegu, or Gwangju, and prices drop to between $300 and $500. Housing remains the single biggest expense for residents. Transportation, by contrast, is efficient and affordable. South Korea has one of Asia's most modern subway and bus systems. A single ride costs around $1 to $1.3 US. And travelers use rechargeable T-money cards to transfer seamlessly between buses and trains. Taxis are also widely available, with short trips ranging from $3.50 to $6, while ride-hailing apps like Kakao T make booking simple, even in English. Food is where South Korea truly surprises. Cooking at home costs between $200 and $300 per month in groceries, but dining out is such a central part of the culture that many locals rarely cook. A simple meal like bibimbap or gimbap rolls costs just $3 to $5 at small eateries. A mid-range restaurant dinner is usually $8 to $15 per person. On the other hand, upscale dining in Seoul's luxury districts can easily reach over $100 for a meal. Entertainment and lifestyle expenses vary. Coffee culture is strong. A single latte in a trendy cafe can cost $4 to $5, while a night out in Gangnam's clubs is much higher. Healthcare is modern and reliable, but private treatment can be costly without insurance. That's why most travelers are advised to carry international health coverage. Altogether, a single person can live modestly in South Korea on about $700 per month if they avoid extras. For a more comfortable lifestyle, including regular dining out, shopping, and travel, expect to spend between $900 and $1,500 monthly. This balance of affordability and luxury makes South Korea attractive for both short-term visitors and long-term residents. The key is knowing how to navigate the choices. Number 15, travel tips for tourists. Visiting South Korea can be an unforgettable adventure, but like any destination, it helps to be prepared. A few simple tips can make the difference between a smooth journey and unnecessary stress. First, for those who love the outdoors, remember that South Korea is a mountainous country. National parks like Seoraksan and Jirasan are breathtaking, but often challenging. Trails can be steep, and weather conditions change quickly. Many warning signs are written only in Korean, so hikers are advised to carry translation apps, wear proper shoes, and never hike alone. Always pack water and a small first aid kit, safety first. During summer, cities like Seoul often experience the urban heat island effect, where temperatures in the concrete jungle feel several degrees hotter than surrounding areas. Heat exhaustion can sneak up quickly. Carry a hat, sunglasses, and plenty of water, and whenever possible, use the air-conditioned subway system to move between destinations. Food is one of the great joys of Korea, but travelers should take precautions with raw or unusual dishes. Street food is safe in most places, but some stalls may not follow strict hygiene standards. Dishes like raw fish or fermented seafood can be risky for those with sensitive stomachs. If you have allergies, always ask about ingredients, or better yet, go with a local guide who can explain. Nightlife in areas like Itaewon and Gangnam is exciting, but visitors should remain cautious. Never accept drinks from strangers, and don't leave your glass unattended. While South Korea has very strict drug laws, drink spiking and petty crimes can still happen in crowded bars. Going out with friends and keeping an eye on each other is the safest choice. Finally, healthcare in South Korea is excellent, but private hospitals can be expensive. Pharmacies often require prescriptions, and staff may not always speak English. Travelers should bring basic medicine from home and consider international travel insurance to cover emergencies. These small steps, from packing wisely to staying cautious at night, will help you enjoy South Korea to the fullest. After all, travel is about embracing adventure, but it's also about returning home with nothing but good memories. And those are 15 fascinating facts and insights about South Korea, a land of contrasts, culture, and constant change. Which part impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next journey on Exploration Corner.